you so much. Hi, my name is Rohit Raman. I am managing partner for Etek International India. I've been driving this company in India since 2020 when we incepted this company. Though this company is almost 30 years old across the globe, but my prior experience is completely different. I have a background of working with media industry. For 14 years, I have spent in the media industry. And then I switched into the world of IT. Cybersecurity has been my fascination, and I've been driving. It was very successful journey so far, and I'm literally enjoying every bit of it. It is very challenging, but at the same time, it is very exciting also, because we've been able to support and solve a lot of problems which our industries are facing today. See, we are moving towards a lot of dependency on digitalization. We are moving towards automation. We are making a lot of use of platforms like ChatGPT. We are making use of artificial intelligence. But the way we are moving, there is a huge gap in the industry related to the skill. We don't have a workforce who's trained to use it. You may be given arms and ammunition, but see, if you don't know how to use it, how are you going to protect it? And these things throw a lot of challenges also. You're using something which is completely automated. There is always a probability of sanctity of the information which is being used by this technology. But how are you going to protect it? You don't know how to protect it. So there are far-reaching implications. You are trying to reduce the interference of human brain. But ultimately, if you realize all the attacks which are happening in the market, all those cyber attacks are actually controlled by a human being, a human brain. These are either state-sponsored. Even if it's a state-sponsored, there is a well-defined human brain behind who is using these technology to infiltrate in your system and compromise or whatever, whether it is a ransom attack or if there is a supply chain attack or if it's an attack in the OT system. But I think system and the industries are not well prepared. This is where my opinion comes. I don't think so that leaving less digital footprint is the only solution, because we have moved far ahead. Our data is already spread. Our digital footprints are all across, and even we are not aware where it is. So in a way, having this saying that to reduce the digital footprint doesn't hold any ground. It is already spread. Now the point is that how are you going to protect it further so that it is not misused? So that we are able to control any exfiltration or any attack related to the data. The data privacy, which has some, connect with India's fundamental right enshrined by the Constitution of India, right, which is directly enforceable in the Supreme Court. So from that perspective, I think we need to have a well-orchestrated system within the organization to control the exfiltration, to control the misuse. And I think there are various laws and acts which is coming up, like DPTP Act, in this direction. I think there is a lot of ambiguity. I would say that preparedness is lacking. I'll be very blunt in saying that, because everything is on the paper. Now the DPTP Act talks about understanding the data right from its origin. So it is created, it is stored somewhere, it is someone's data, someone is using it. So there's a lot of transformation is happening in the data. People are actually talking of a lot of things around it, but no one is working on the ground because there is no clear-cut understanding. They do not know how to classify the data, because to protect anything, you need to understand that. You need to understand that which is the right place to be kept for that information. For example, I'll take an analogy of your home. Home, we have a drawing room, that is a living room, we have a bedroom, we have a bathroom and kitchen. Everything, every product in your home is having a defined place. You'll always place your stove in kitchen. A refrigerator may be in a larger living room or a dining hall. A wardrobe where you keep your clothes would be in your bedroom, right? So you should know which item to be kept where, but you will do it if and only if you know that I understand this item. I understand that it's a cloth and hence it is to be kept in the bedroom, so that tomorrow if it is stolen, I am able to actually investigate that it would have been stolen from there. But data is so much huge quantum which is residing in any organization. The industry and the experts are not aware that what is the nature of data residing in the system, how to classify it, where to keep the data, where my data is actually residing. So how do I protect it? Now, DPDP Act has come up, right? It talks of a lot of things like, taking consent. Even if I as a consumer give my consent, I'm not too sure whether somebody who is using my data is actually keeping it in the right place. Industry is not at all prepared. There are innovations coming up, but no one is thinking that how to disconnect the classification of data using any human intervention. Because a human intervention will create a lot of challenge in data classification. If I am a disgruntled person, I'll classify the data the way I want. You will classify the data the way you understand it. The same data gets misclassified. Multiple classification. So that will create a lot of risk with the data. And it will exfiltrate it using even if you deploy any tool, it will get exfiltrated because somebody would have classified it as public data. So there's a lot of ambiguity. System is not yet prepared.
Okay, so how?
I think the ground would be to understand how much of data you have. That should be the first step. The second step should be where all you have kept your data. What is the quantum of data that you are keeping in your system? Then start segregating it, which means that classification. And don't use any manual classification. Use automated classification tool, wherein the platform itself understands the content and it classifies the data. You should not leave any chance of misclassification. And last but not the least is the training part. You may have invested a lot in technology, but if your workforce, if your people are not well trained, they will not be able to properly use whether any technology, whether any data. So these five things are very, very critical, and that way I think they can prepare themselves with obviously some of the traditional platforms that you use to protect your perimeter and DLP and all those things. But I think this is the ground reality and they should focus in these areas. See, I think the primary owners will always lie with the organization themselves.
Okay.
Now, who should they select for the training? Again, I'll move a step back. I would say that government will have to come with some compliance and regulation. The training part is mandatory. You need to train your employees, and those trainings should be properly certified. You should show that these people have been trained on this, they attended this session. There should be a proper examination. It should not be simply that I attended the session and in the end of the session I was given a certificate of training. That is not going to solve the purpose. That is simply a compliance, a tick mark. So that's not the solution that I'm talking about. There should be a very stringent law enforced by government, because this is how India works. You have to enforce things, abide by law. Once you fear that if I don't do this, I will not grow in my organization, there should be there should be certain policies, inherent policies, that you should be trained. You should reflect these qualities of information. You should reflect these competencies to protect the data. And then who should train? We can have partners. There are tech companies who are imparting training, but I think it should be a combination of a tech company and some visuals that an organization can build to train the people. It's a combination of both the internal organization, tech company, and government. Well, they are already going through a great challenge, right? Expectations of the management from CIOs, CISOs, and CTOs are very high, but they are not being well supported with the funds that should be given to them. So in terms of responsibility, it is very high. They have sleepless nights. Their role will be definitely changing. They have to manage various vendors to comply with this emerging situations. Now it is for them to select a partner who is highly competent, who is end-to-end capable to handle legal situation, technical situation, as well as the training part. This way they can reduce their burden. But yes, it is going to be very challenging, but at the same time, I think they were the people who have been managing technology. They brought in a lot of automation in system, business grew. So for them, it is a significant role to show to their board that the organization and at least the cybersecurity function has a business impact. They will have to convince their board that if cybersecurity function or IT is compromised, your business is impacted. So they'll have to change their perspective of thinking. They should not simply think of, IT infrastructure. They should think from the point of view of business. How is their business dependent on their function, the department that they are heading? Now they should come forward and talk in these terms to the board. This is the biggest step that they will have to take. I think they should not do it. DPO should be a completely independent function. Because if you merge CIO, CISO and CTOs with the role of DPO, there will be a lot of ambiguity in the system. Their responsibility will be confused. Let the CTO handle the infrastructure and the implementation and the architecture. Let a CIO take care of the security part and let the CISO take care of rest of the things, the compliance. But a DPO is focused only on the data. Now DPO's qualifications should have some law background. They should understand what DPDP Act talks about. They should understand the nature of data residing in the system and how it is classified, because there are a lot of articles and lot of regulations within the DPDP Act. For example, taking the consent. This is not the role of a CIO or CTO. It is actually a legal's role. So from day one to disintegrate it and make it very clear, it is important to have a separate DPO as an individual or a role, not just give one person responsibilities of everything. I think that will be a little compromise situation.